Breaking news. American Vogue seeks new head of editorial content. On Thursday, Vogue said it will be seeking a head of editorial content at American Vogue, ending Anna Wintour's 37-year reign as editor-in-chief of the publication. Wintour, 75, will remain chief content officer for Condé Nast and global editorial director, Vogue. She told staffers about the change in an editorial meeting Thursday. As Chief Content Officer, Wintour oversees every brand globally, including Wired, Vanity Fair, GQ, AD, Condé Nast Traveler, Glamour, Bon Appetit, Tatler, World of Interiors, Allure and others, with the exception of The New Yorker, which is overseen by David Remnick. Wintour became editor-in-chief of Vogue in 1988. 4 years ago, Condé Nast changed its editorial structure, bringing together the editorial teams around the world for the first time. Every market where Condé Nast operates has a head of editorial content led by a global editorial director. The new Vogue US role is part of the company's organizational design, and it will join the heads of editorial content for Japan, China, India, Taiwan, UK, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, and the Middle East. Over the past 4 years, Wintour's role has expanded with a global responsibility across all brands, in addition to the day-to-day editing of American Vogue. The addition of a new editorial leader on the U.S. Vogue team is expected to allow Wintour more time to support the markets more equally, in addition to leading all titles at Condé Nast, with the exception of The New Yorker. While Wintour will be seeking a head of editorial content at American Vogue, a plum role in fashion journalism, she indicated that she is not going anywhere and this will give her more time to work on her global role. Wintour took over the editor-in-chief role at Vogue in 1988, taking the reins from former editor-in-chief Grace Mirabella. Wintour immediately began making changes to the glossy fashion magazine and focused more on offbeat downtown fashion than her predecessor. Her first cover, the November 1988 issue, featured model Michaela Bercu in a $50 pair of jeans. The first time denim was on the cover of Vogue, with a $10,000 Christian LaCroix sweater in a fun and relaxed shot. Wintour went on to break several fashion magazine taboos, including featuring a man on the cover, Richard Gere, who was photographed with his wife at the time, Cindy Crawford. Wintour's style was so recognizable, the famous bobbed haircut and dark sunglasses, and her personality was so intimidating that it inspired the Miranda Priestley character in The Devil Wears Prada, a book written by her former assistant Lauren Weisberger and later made into a movie starring Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. Throughout her tenure, the longtime editor has been well known for championing younger designers, giving them multiple opportunities to expand their businesses and exposure. Wintour partnered with the CFDA for the CFDA/Vogue Fashion Fund, which was set up to help emerging designers and cultivate the next generation of American fashion talent. Since its inception in 2003, 200 designers have received mentoring and a total of more than $8 million. Only the annual winner and the 2 runners-up receive a financial grant. Early in her Vogue career, Wintour told WWD that fashion was first and foremost. She said she wanted to get away from the very perfect Vogue girl of the past, the big earrings, the perfect hair. I just wanted to make the look of the magazine more relaxed, the way I see women in the street, said Wintour. But while there was initial criticism of the new Vogue and that it had cast aside its traditional audience in favor of a much younger one, she replied, "Sure, but I haven't met a woman yet who wants to look old." Wintour, who works and lives her life at a blistering pace, is well known for exerting a great deal of control over the magazine's visual content. A documentary film, The September Issue, by R.J. Cutler, about the production of the September 2007 issue focused on the sometimes difficult relationship between Wintour and then creative director Grace Coddington and the behind-the-scenes drama of putting out the magazine. In addition to her editing responsibilities, Wintour also supported significant initiatives to drum up retail sales, spearheading Fashion's Night Out, which got off to a rousing start in 2009 but then ran out of steam by 2013. Fashion's Night Out began in September 2009 and was introduced by Wintour, then New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, George Fertitta, the Chief Executive Officer of NYC and Company, and Stephen Kolb of the CFDA. It was designed to get New Yorkers and tourists excited about shopping again, and proceeds went to the September 11th memorial. Shoppers were encouraged to donate clothes to benefit the New York City AIDS Fund. The first event occurred a year after Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, and the city's retail scene was in dismal. Fashion's Night featured 800 events at retailers across New York City and included more drinking than actual shopping. It's about people's jobs and livelihoods, putting the fun back into fashion again, that it's going to be a huge celebration of fashion and everybody within the industry is going to be present, Wintour told WWD in 2009. We are all in this together and we are all here to help, and that really was also the thinking behind the event. Wintour has supported Democratic candidates throughout her tenure, starting with Hillary Clinton's 2000 Senate run and most recently, Kamala Harris's run for U.S. President. Wintour was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire in the 2008 birthday honors. Air Mail founder and co-editor and former Vanity Fair editor Graydon Carter said, "I really don't know how Anna has juggled all these roles for so many years. I get exhausted just reading all her titles. She deserves to step back a bit. She's earned it." Calvin Klein said, "Anna finally made her decision about the future, which I think is really exciting. It clearly gives her the opportunity to shape Condé Nast the way that she wants it." Newhouse Jr., who turned Condé Nast into a powerhouse, and Vogue's longtime art director Alexander Lieberman both saw that she was the person for the time, at Vogue and then at all of Condé Nast. Now she is left with the responsibility of choosing the people to run the show, except she's still running the show. For her, it will be, as she has already told the staff, exciting because it's a new chapter for her. But at the same time, she's the right person to make the move and to choose the successor. The thing is, Anna shaped Vogue and Condé Nast as she saw fit. Grace Mirabella and Diana Vreeland each had something special, but they did not have what Anna has. Now it's up to Anna to see the vision and the future of the magazine and who can take it and run with it. She will know. She's worked with so many people. If anyone would know who is the right person, she would know. Even though there is the Newhouse family, SI had a special love for the magazine. Now she is the person who chooses the direction which it needs to change. The whole print world has changed. It's a matter of finding who will be the leader, as she has been herself. Who is the next one? She'll know better than anyone. It's a really wise move that the family decided that she stays and continues to direct all of the magazines, said Klein. Tom Brown said, "No will ever really be able to replace Anna. She has supported so many and supported fashion more than anyone. She is the most generous and selfless person. We are entering a new world. I don't know what to expect. We have seen the best. Before we so quickly think about the future, can we please just truly appreciate the amazing past we have lived with Anna Wintour?" Anna Wintour created a platinum standard for what it means to be a credible and serious fashion publication editor, and she made all of us other editors better for it. She turned the notion of the frivolous fashion editor on its head, affirming instead the financial and cultural power endemic to the role. Her impact is broad and deep, but what has always inspired me about her reach is her indefatigable support of not only the industry as a business but also emerging talent, said Ariel Foxman, Area Vice President, Brand and Experience at the Boston Seaport, who was editor of InStyle from 2008 to 2016. Valerie Steele, the museum at the Fashion Institute of Technology's director and chief curator, said, "I don't see this diminishing Anna's role in the fashion world. She's already moved up at Vogue and more internationally. What we've seen internationally with media in general is that it's harder for magazines to have the authority that they used to have, because so much content has moved online. The enthusiasm for magazines continues to exist, but it's for indie magazines like The Gentlewoman that have their own narrow but deep constituencies. I'm not sure there's anything that Anna Wintour or any of the editorial directors under her can do to change what seems to be a historical media development, where things have moved away primarily from paper, especially when it comes to middle-of-the-road or mass audiences. The brand name Vogue evolves, but the magazine part of it probably is restricted in many ways. It's a free-floating brand that is probably still the #1 fashion brand in many ways. And we see how important Anna and Vogue are to other parts of the fashion world, including designers. With the CF Vogue Fashion Fund supporting young designers, You see what a crucial part that is of the Vogue brand that can help move smaller, indie talents up the ladder, said Steele. Stuart Emrich, former editor of the New York Times Styles and Vogue.com, said, "Anna is a terrific editor, of course, but above all she has been brilliant at brand.